becomes something that is shared responsibility. And then we can start talking about investing in Africa. Now, whichever way you look at it, railways, roads and logistics are incredibly important if we're going to deliver on the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. Africa needs to feed the world. Some ridiculous figure like 60% of unadopted agricultural land for agriculture is in Africa. Community development. You go 50 miles from your capital city. No, let's take it down. 10 miles from your capital city. How many centuries are you going back?
A lot.
Community development, education, health, waste. I teased the people I spent time with in Gabon because as I was driven around and I was shown the city of Libreville, I came across various piles of electricity sitting on the side of the road. I said, "You're funny people here. Why do you leave your electricity on the side of the road?" And they looked at me and they said, "What's he talking about? Who is this strange man?" Waste is electricity, if you process it right. But there's waste in agriculture, all those avocados that fall to the floor. Anyone who know the price of a litre of avocado oil?
Sure.
$20 a litre, £20 a litre in the UK. So if you could process those avocados that fell, that no one had the appetite for, and made them into oil, we wouldn't be talking about Nigerian oil or Angolan oil or any other oil, we'd be talking about avocado oil. And what about the waste in people? How do we mobilize the waste in people and financial services? Africa is very poor. Why is it not creating bullion? Why are the diaspora not buying gold in Africa? What about the cost of moving that gold to Dubai? Has no one heard of Fort Knox? We build Fort Knox in Africa. Diaspora investment, tourism, IT, young people, these are all the things that we need to be talking about, and this is what I wanted our audience to be focused on when we were talking today. Next. And I wanted to give them this lesson, and that is, investors invest in what they know. The easiest way for me to lose money is to take my wallet out and invest it in a sector I know nothing about. Because the fleecing starts before it's left my hand. Now, with so much to be done, we need experts in all the sectors that we're talking about to step forward and lead. We need the technology from Cambridge to support those experts. And we need the political will in the domestic market to support that. And in doing that, we have a chance of rescuing some of that investment that I say is so plentiful. I love this. I found it on Facebook in January this year. And he's been a friend of mine on Facebook. I've never met him. But he digs boreholes. And before he retires, in 3 years, he wants to make sure that most of his villages in his country have water. And in doing that, he will be helping them to climb up the 1636 greasy pole. So become a catalyst for change for Africa, bring your knowledge, your opportunities, your potential, link it to our network of other people with all these facilities and see what we can do. I was talking with Dr. Toomey earlier about the football ground in Oxford, which is looked after from a security point of view by one of our members. And he rang me and he said, "David, I need you to talk to my friend in Abuja. He's very well connected." "Oh yes." And the conversation went on to talk about trains. Well, I got on the train in East Grinstead, I got off at East Croydon, I got off on again at East Croydon, and I got off in Cambridge. That's what I know about trains. He says, they need you to refurbish a train network. And for those of you who know Trying and Hornby and one or two other things like that, that's my knowledge of trains. Next. But what I've learned over the time that I've been working with Africans in the UK over the last 15 years is that there are lots of machines for making money that nobody knows about. So this little 80 kilograms of bent metal will help you build 12 to 15 houses a year. The gentleman took 2 of these to Djibouti. His first year's turnover was $300,000. Does anybody want to make money? Go to Djibouti with 2 of these machines and make $300,000. Then you can go for a world cruise. This is a vibrating plate machine. We've all heard about schools and nursery schools and other buildings that fall down because the concrete blocks that it was made with weren't right. You cannot make blocks stronger than with this machine. It takes the air out of the block. So this is the machine that will make the 8,000 houses in Sierra Leone. Next. And these are the apartment blocks it's being used for in Ghana, for the Ghana Army. And that one's in Malawi. And that one is part of a project to move 2,000 people out of the Kibera slum in Nairobi. They built a whole village called Kapite. You can do roofing, you can do paved driveways, you can do systems. It's a very flexible machine. Anyone wants to know about it, buildworks.co.uk. Next. I love this. You're all familiar with a shipping container, it's just this big. Inside you've got the solar panel array. With it, you have a water purification system, and you also have a satellite link. So driving this to your village, 50 miles from your capital city, or however many miles from your capital city, you have 3-phase power. You have 8,000 litres an hour of fresh drinking water to World Health Organization standards, and you have a satellite connection. How would the local school do if it had this?
Oh, that is phenomenally well.
You have to go a long way to find this. You have to go to Petworth in Sussex. You don't have to go to China. You have to go to Petworth in Sussex. Next. This freezer comes from Cape Town. It does 500 kilos in 24 hours of ice. It uses just 2 hours of electricity in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. 500 kilos of ice at $1 a kilo, 50 cents, $250 a day. Why are we talking about 1,636 pounds? Next. Anybody have a shower today? Did you buy your shampoo from Aurora? Aurora's down on the south coast of South Africa. She does Nature's Labs Organics. Her father-in-law did my soap shop. This little machine will do 2,000 litres per day of shampoo, body wash, washing up liquid, household cleaner, whatever you want, 20 different recipes. Can you imagine the sisters selling to the aunties and the grannies, and you're building a multi-level network marketing program in a town 20 miles outside Jos or outside Nairobi or outside anywhere? Next. Zimbabwe and the 10,000 farmers. This is the thing behind the rice that I was telling you about, but also behind tomatoes. In Zimbabwe, they got a 30% increase in yield and 4 days extra shelf life. For tomatoes which perish quickly in the heat, 4 days extra is a huge amount of added value to the farmer. This is the sort of technology we need to be taking across the continent. Next. This is going to Gabon because they leave their electricity in the street and they're going to put in 35 tons of rubbish per day and they're going to get 1 megawatt of electricity out. Say goodbye to brownouts. And that is 6 shipping containers in a local area. So it's for a town. It's for maybe somewhere between 500 and 1,000 houses. Oh, and I love this one. Did anybody see all the mangoes falling on the floor? This will process 1,000 kilos of mangoes an hour into juice. It will pasteurize the juice and it will put it into a 50-litre drum that you can sell to Sainsbury's or Lidl or Aldi or anybody, so long as you've got the right stuff going in. And it's not just, where does it come from? It comes from Malmesbury, which is near Swindon. Next. This one comes a bit further afield. This is from Botswana. But has anyone wondered about the skinny little chickens running around the village and whether they're actually any good to eat? This is about helping farmers in the rural areas go from back farm, farmer's yard type, backyard type chicken growing into something that's more productive and worthwhile. So there's teaching, there's growing the chickens, there's processing the chickens, there's marketing the chickens, and there's the supermarkets, butchers, and what have you that take the chickens. This is a $25,000 franchisable project. What we're looking for is 54 franchisors to take it into 54 countries, tested in Botswana. And I came across a company that provides these machines. So this is a heat press, this is piston filling, this is bottle blowing, this is bottle washing, filling and labeling, this is briquette machines, and cooking oil to biodiesel, and this is waste baling, and this is animal fish feed and heating pellets. Next. Peanut butter machine. This is a top seller in South Africa, I'm told. Coconut juicing and crushing, coconut float, hatchery, spices. I love this one. This is a wall printing machine. Can you imagine having a university with a wall where you can change the design of the wall
Every 6 months.
every few days?
It's incredible.
Next. So this is the story of the $7.1 billion project that came from the man in Oxford. I was the British African in London. And when I started this company, when I started this process, I knew one African in the UK. And he was a Congolese friend of mine, living in London. He said, I like what you're doing with this, David. Can you go to the Cameroon High Commission? And we had a lovely conversation, because my grandfather worked in Cameroon. And they said, come to our National Day celebration, Independence Day celebration. We're going to have a reception, fancy hotel, West London. I went along. I met a bishop from Kenya. He said, David, what do you do? And I've told him more or less the same story that I've told you. He said, you must come and meet my friend in Oxford. We have a group there. We should have a group in Oxford. So I went and I met a Nigerian in Oxford. And as I said, he rang me. He said, David, I've not spoken. Hello, Chief, how are you? He said, I need you to talk to my friend in Abuja. He wants you to do a railway. And you know the rest. But actually, we've taken that railway through approvals from 2 governments, from 2 ministers of transport. We've got the certifications we need to go to feasibility funding. So that's where we're going. It's only taken 5 years. Only 5 years. But that's what we've done. So next. For those of you who would like to dip your hand in your pocket, I said I'd be coming. We have a range of memberships. The memberships should suit your company, should suit your position. Next. And that's what we do. British African Business Alliance, BABA members and you, linking business to Africa. People, most importantly people, knowledge, technology, funding, investment, accelerating economic development. Because I don't want to stand here next year and say we got to $1,670. I want to see us at 3,200. I want that to go to 5,000. Why should we not be getting towards 10,000? And so thank you for your attention. I'm glad that you came. Nice to meet you. I'd do it again if they'd let me. But